Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a blessed day. I hope everybody is doing well. And not only that, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's preparing for the holiday season and enjoy time with family and friends for a holiday season. I wanted to jump on this morning and talk about a little bit about accountability. Accountability. Just really wanted to expound on accountability. As somebody who's getting ready to retire out of the military with 26 years of service in a professional organization where one of the pillars of that organization is accountability, being held accountable. You've been accountable for yourself, especially as leaders, being held accountable for your actions as a leader, being held accountable for the action of those you have been charged to lead. And the other thing with accountability, what I wanted to talk about accountability too, is from a personal level. Accountability from a personal level. Accountability from a personal level is as just in the dynamic of a parent and a child relationship. When a parent loves their child, genuinely loves their child, they will hold them accountable to certain standards. They'll hold them accountable to certain behaviors because they want what's best for them. In the capacity of, and when we talk about faith, God holds us accountable to his principles because he loves us, right? And I would say accountability is a byproduct of somebody loving you. Accountability is a byproduct of somebody genuinely caring about you. Accountability is not an attack. And accountability, true accountability, is not an attack. It'd be one thing if somebody is attempting to use accountability to hold you to a standard that is not aligned to what you have going on. And I would say that that's just like me. I'm trying to hold you to the description or responsibility of a basketball coach, but you over the chess club. Kind of see what I'm saying? It's just two totally different things. But I just want people to understand accountability is not an attack. And a lot of people that have been upset about people being held accountable, especially when we start talking about our elected officials, and especially when we start talking about the realities of the things back home in Alabama, in the Black Belt region of Alabama, Perry County, Alabama, when we're looking at the issues that people are dealing with, and people are talking about holding people accountable for that, some people taking it as if it's an attack. It's not an attack. The reality is the issues that we've been dealing with, that we are dealing with right now, back home, those issues should never have happened if people were doing the things that they were supposed to do within the capacity of their job description that one, they volunteered for or was appointed to do, and they're being compensated to do. So that's accountability, man. Like, we got to stop making excuses because we may know somebody may be close to us, may be kin to us, we may grew up with them. But if they're not operating in the capacity of what they're supposed to do in that position, then they should be held accountable. And if somebody calling for accountability, that is not an attack. Like, that's not an attack. It's not a personal attack, but talking about, hey, this is what have been done or what not have been done. And I think a lot of people really need to look at that. And the reason why I say that, the reason why I am saying that in this aspect is because we have to be honest about the reality of what we see. Like, if you go back and I'm just talking about it, the reality, we have to be honest about the reality and not just be comfortable with just accepting the same old, the same old, right? And when I say the same old, well, I'm looking at when things aren't there, basic necessities. We have been so accustomed to not having that we just okay with it. And the thing that is alarming to me is when somebody is have a genuine care and concern, have a genuine love, wants to see better because they are from there and they may have seen that, hey, this is not acceptable. When they come back and they start asking questions and start inquiring and they start looking at black and white, they start seeing things and they take a logical approach, people will assume that they are attacking. It's not an attack. That's accountability for the job that these people already should have been doing. And now, you know, receipts. The thing about it is a lot of stuff is public information. And a lot of people will tell you anything, but receipts don't lie. You can't go to the store. You cannot go to a store, taking an item back, go to customer service and say, hey, I'm bringing this back. And they're going to be like, okay, your return policy means you got to have a receipt. You have to be able to provide proof that you purchased it, right? The same thing when we start talking about receipts for holding people accountable. Accountability, when somebody provides receipts, actual receipts, factual, verifiable information, why are people upset as if somebody is attacking these people when the proof is in the pudding? The proof is in the pudding. And those are the things, that's what I'm talking about. Accountability is a form of love. If you was doing what you were supposed to do in the capacity of what you were supposed to do, then why is it so hard to want to be held accountable? Right? A lot of the issues that we have in the Black Belt, specifically in Perry County, is because our elected leaders that we continue to recycle, and I want us to understand this, I want us to think about this. Look at where the conditions of Perry County, where they at right now, and think about where they was 20 years ago. And I know 20 years may be a lifetime for some, but if we think about where they was those years ago, what we will see, right? The things that we will see that it is not better right now than when it was back then. We will see that we had way more, we had better infrastructure back then. We had a lot more businesses. We had a lot more jobs. We had a lot more things, tangible things that people could see, that people could benefit from, that benefited the day-to-day life, the quality of life of the people in Perry County. They were better 20, 25, 30 years ago than what they are right now. But we have people that have been elected back home, leaders who've been recycled, either been at the city level, been at the county level. We just recycle these same leaders who's been in there 10, 15, 20, 25 years. These same leaders, during the time, you can see the degradation of the quality of life that we have. And when people start to hold people account to why things aren't being done, now they want to paint somebody as a troublemaker, as an outsider, as a divisive person. But it's really just holding people to account for the job that they should have already been done. And this is the thing. Many of these things are required by law. They are required, according to Alabama law, for audits to be done. They are required for, if you have grants and all that stuff, those expenditures and all of that stuff, the paperwork should be filed. Why aren't these leaders having this stuff public and sharing it with people if they're not trying to hide something? And then now you can discover that all this grant funding is coming in or has come in, and then people look, okay, well, what happened? Because this is the other thing. With some of that grant funding, I shared yesterday for the Delta Regional Authority. I just did some research to find some grant funding that was provided to Perry County, and from I was looking for 2015 for over the last 10 years. And I was able to find that the Delta Regional Authority has awarded, $6.47 million to Perry County. Majority of that money, Uniontown didn't receive any funding during that time. And that was because, from what I've gathered, Uniontown didn't put in for it. You have to put in for it to get funding. Marion Military Institute, under the educational funding portion, they was able to get some things. And the things that Marion Military Institute got, you can see the actual tangible results for the money that they got. They got funding to purchase a plane. They got funding to purchase, I think, a fire truck, a fire engine, to do training for it. Those are tangible things that you can see. Perry County Commission, Marion got money to hook up they said to connect certain houses to water. But Perry County got funding, $42,000 to like scrape a road. But I was informed that that money was sent back. That money was sent back by, at the time, Commissioner Ron Miller. It was sent back instead of them executing it what it was for. Like that. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. But the question that I asked for the people back home, did y'all know about any of this stuff? Like a lot of this stuff is announced about how much money that the county is receiving, but is there any follow-up to be hold accountable to the people to let them know, hey, this is the money that we received, this is the plan that we have for it, and then a follow-up that we can see, hey, this has been completed, right? That the other funding that came as far as with TechPAC, it said to the access road to TechPAC. From my understanding, that money was used to redo the how you leave town. Remember before where you go through the Piggly Wiggly parking lot right now. So that's what some of that funding went to, right? But when we start talking about now the Perry County I think commission, I think it's the water board. Yeah, the Perry County Water Board got $2 million grant to Perry County Water Board got a $2 million grant to redo pipes up in the Heidelberg, North Perry County area. Now, one thing I would say, the Perry County Water Authority is not an entity of the Perry County Commission, but the Perry County Water Authority always receives, grant funding. You know why? They submit an audit. They do an audit every year. And what people aren't saying is, instead of people being upset because people are calling to account on holding leaders to account for why things are the way that they are, instead of people getting mad at people asking questions and raising awareness and providing information, instead of people getting mad at them, why won't we ask our leaders, why haven't they done the things they needed to do to put the municipality, to put the cities, to put the counties, to put our areas in the best position that these people are dealing with? And this is what I don't understand. Folks are mad at people like me for asking questions when they support the very people that are responsible for them being in the condition that they're in. Like, I never went without water for days. Like, y'all, are we, and get it. Man, big shout out to everybody that gave water to Marion back home. Big shout out. But why are we really celebrating that when we aren't addressing how did we get here to this point? Because that we have to have there's definitely has to be an account of why they was in the position that they are. And we have to look at it, have to be logical about it, have to be logical in our approach, and we have to think about the realities of what's going on and look at it and start asking questions. Why? The people have the power, not these elected officials. They have been grown so accustomed and so comfortable to people not holding them to account. Because once you start holding them to account, then they'll start to try to do personal attacks, and they'll call you names, they'll do all of that. No, receipts. Where is the verifiable information that's provided? Not the word salad and all of this other stuff, just the propaganda and just putting information out there. None of it sticks. Where are the results at? Where are the results? And I would tell you, as I continue to find information, I will continue to relay information. I will continue to put out information. Why? Because I want the people to know that you have the power. You have the power to hold these folks accountable. Stop letting these people play in your face. That's why it's so important to get involved. Be at those city council meetings. Be at those county commission meetings. Be in there to stay informed, to know what's going on. And before anybody say this, why? But this is the funny thing, and I'm laughing at this. Me living down in Georgia, I'm from Alabama, from the Black Belt, from Uniontown, right? I went to school in Greensboro. My mama worked up there for the Board of Education, so I went to school in Greensboro. After going to Hatch for my kindergarten year, graduated from Greensboro, right? I'm from there. That's home. Why is it people are asking what I'm doing or expecting me to provide solutions, which I have no problem with. But why is there expectation for me to provide solutions, but you don't hold the leaders accountable that's been in those positions? Some of them, like the mayor, been the mayor since November 2016, 9 years. Why is that same energy is not held to the leadership to be accountable? Why is that same energy not held to the city clerk? Because that's part of the city clerk job, to maintain records for those the administration for the financial records and all of that. Why those audits haven't been done? But you champion that all the people who basically are quote unquote Monday morning quarterbacking, they need to provide solutions. There's people got solutions, but are the elected officials listening? Have they reached out to people that can support them? Because I do know for a fact that there have been people that people have tried to connect people with that have expertise, but a lot of these people didn't support. I know for a fact in Uniontown, there's a gentleman that's from the area that have over 20 years of experience in accounting that was attempting to help Uniontown when Mayor Jones was there. But from what I got back, the city council, they didn't want it. He was trying to teach them how to use new software and everything, but they didn't want his help. Yeah, there's other people that people try to connect that got experience working in other places, experience with water system, but people don't want the help. And we're in the situation that we're in right now, right? Think about it. Just think about it. It's 2025. And how many times within 2025, people in Perry County has either had a board notice or been without water or had low water pressure? That's just in 2025, because I can go back discolored water, but I can go back to even claims of 2021, back then or even before then. We still dealing with it, but we still got people will come into your face and they will, and this is the thing, right? And this is a question that I have. For all of these alleged, and there's allegation on people harvesting votes or people compensating people to vote a certain way. Was those $40, $50 worth it? Was that $150 you getting, or $200 for you getting your utilities paid? Was it worth you being without water for 4 days? Was it worth it? Was that $40, $50 that you got? Was it worth it? I'm asking, was it worth it? Instead of being mad at me, look at, okay, why would I believe somebody that's willing to compensate me for me to vote a certain way, how they want me to vote? And this is the thing with all of that. I want everybody to understand this. I want everybody to understand it, because you know I can provide for receipts. All of the leadership, and I'm just saying in Marion right now, the chairman of the Perry County Commission, Albert Turner, was endorsing. He tried to endorse like 3 different people at first, but when the runoff came, he endorsed the current mayor in it. He announced after the election that there was a unified effort and unified thing that they're going to be working together going forward. Right after the water went out in Marion, all of a sudden, what's his name, Long, the former mayor Long, and Albert Turner, they put out, and I saw it on social media. They put out that, you know, they had attempted to work with Mayor Hinton about providing a solution or connecting the county and the water together, but he wouldn't accept it. Now, if there was a consolidated effort of unity, why put that information out? Why try to distance yourself when a crisis happens? And then there's some other things we got to just start asking questions, man. Like, for real, mismanagement is real, and stop getting mad at people for people asking questions. That's it. That's it. And I saw, sometimes I'll just say this. I'm just going to say this. Sometimes it's just best to be quiet. Especially, and take the L that you position yourself to take. Sometimes it's just best to be quiet. Don't sit here and try to, you know, just be quiet, roll, sit down, roll, and do the things that you need to do. My prayers, and I would say this, my prayer is for a change, for a reset. Because things can get better, but we got to get a lot of people that's out of there. It's time to wake up. It's time for those small gestures and stop thinking about everybody looking out for your best interests. You got to ask yourself, if somebody been involved with something for 20 years and it's gotten worse in those 20 years, then why are we continuing to celebrate that and accept it? That's the question that I have. Why are we continuing to recycle our same elected officials? And the proof is in the pudding. Perry County, yeah, my mom said, yeah, Trump got mad at Marjorie Taylor Greene for asking questions he did not like. Like, that's, we have to not only want better, not only talk about it, but we have to hold people to account and don't let go. Apply that pressure. Apply that pressure, right? And don't be quiet. The power is in the hands of the people, right? Don't just get mad right now, but let's get organized. Let's hold these people accountable. Let's do the things that we need to do. I shared yesterday that ADAM, the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, sent a letter to Mayor Hinton on the 19th of November. And in that letter, it stated that they had revised the agreement they had from the American Recovery Plan Act funding that Perry County got, that Marion got. Marion had got a total, it didn't change. What they did was they just, they adjusted the money that they had. So Marion got like 1.2 million dollars to redo the phase 1 for the water treatment. And then originally they got $145,000 allocated to do an audit. They made an adjustment to change the 1.45 to 1.70, right? And then they took the money from the allocation that they had for the water plant for them to do an audit, right? That letter stated that the city of Marion acknowledged receipt of that money for the do audit back in March. On March 17th, they sent it, and on March 21st of this year, they sent the receipt acknowledging, hey, we received the funds. The ADAM is waiting on them to do a financial statement, something, and I think it's called the FSP. It's in there. I can't remember exactly what it is, but they laid out what they need from the city of Marion. They need that by the 22nd of December, or ADAM, it said they will consider taking the funds back, the $1.25 million. They would consider taking those funds back and distributing through the state. Why? Because we got to do what we need to do. And then the last, why haven't we, it's 2025. It's 2025. Why haven't an audit been done since 2021? When you've had the same leadership in there. Yeah, this is the stuff I'm talking about. And then when the city council of Marion earlier this month, when they had the city's first city council meeting with all the new members, they voted to remove the city clerk in Marion, but Dexter Hinton, the mayor, inserted himself to vote to tie it up, to stop that. Why? Yeah, that's just what I'm talking about. And you sit down and you think about it, you have to ask yourself, okay, for those that are supporting this, listen, and this has nothing to do with the person. This has nothing to do with the individual. This is not personal. This is not talking about person. I'm talking about somebody operating in the capacity of the role that they volunteered for. If you volunteer to be the mayor, then I'm asking to account the actions that you did as mayor in the capacity of a mayor. Think about that. Now, when you sit down and look at it, it just doesn't make any sense. Why hasn't it been done? It's a yearly requirement. Why aren't you doing it? That's why you see other cities. That's why when you go around, you see other cities, other municipalities, and you see them that are even smaller, they're thriving. The reason why they're thriving is because the people got their ducks in the order. They got their ducks in the order. They got their ducks in a row. Like, for example, Farnsdale, Alabama. Farnsdale, Alabama, right outside of Uniontown. That's where my parents had a house at when I was born in Demopolis. That's where they were staying in Farnsdale. And I lived in Farnsdale until I was about 2 years old. Then we moved to Uniontown. And I lived in Uniontown until I was in the 5th grade. I was 10, 11 years old. Then we moved up to Sawyerville at my granddaddy farm in Sawyerville. That's why I finished school at. But Funsdale, Alabama, population maybe 200 people. Do you know Funsdale, Alabama received a grant a couple years ago, $300,000 grant to redo their sidewalks? And guess what? If you go to Funsdale right now, guess what you'll see? You'll see those sidewalks redone. You also go to Funsdale. Funsdale got 2 fire trucks. 2 of them. 2 of them. They got 5 trucks within the last few years. Funsdale got 5 trucks. One, I think, $300,000. The other one, $500,000. They was able to get that through funding, grant funding. You know why they was able to do that? Because they books in a row. They got audit done. And the problem that we have in our community in the Black Belt, the problem we have is people don't trust our leaders down there. They don't trust a lot of the nonprofit organizations. They don't trust our leaders. And people be more than willing to give money to our area if our leaders, the people that we had in leadership, weren't in those positions, and if our ducks was in the row. This is why I'd be upset or have the passion that I have, because it's so easy to get things done if people just do right. We got way too many people that are hiding behind all of these nonprofit organizations and aren't really doing right. They just do optics as if they want the optics as if they're doing the right thing, but we don't really see the tangible results for it, especially the amount of money they're coming in. The same thing, I'm being honest with you. When people want people to give back to schools, and look, man, why would I give my money to you? And it's because there have been people I know at certain schools, I'm not going to call in the names, people made donations to those schools and didn't see the results of what they donated for, and they ain't going to get no money back. Rightfully so. Why would I give my money to somewhere that ain't doing what they said they're supposed to do? But this all goes back to accountability. Accountability is a byproduct of love. I love where I'm from. I'm not going to be quiet. Like I said, I'll be retired out the military very soon, and I got time today. And my whole thing is to provide information to people so people can be aware. This ain't had nothing to do. I don't want nothing. I'm not trying to get nothing out of this. I'm not trying to get nothing out of this at all. What I am saying is I want the people to know the information. Once you see it start to raise questions like, wait a minute, dang, then they got all this. Well, why am I not seeing the results of this? Just being honest. Like, why wouldn't somebody want to inform you? You know what's funny? We got elected officials that love to do photo ops and love to take pictures with people and talk about all of these connections and everything that they have. But if you go around and look in Perry County, drive around, look at the roads in the county. If you drive around, look at some of these cities and look at some of the issues that we have, you'd be like, what good is that? You know, and there's some other stuff. There's some more stuff that I will share. A lot more stuff that I will share just to continue to keep the people informed. Ask questions. Ask questions. And I'm proud to be a concerned outsider. Proud to be a very concerned outsider. And I will continue to be concerned. I will continue to inquire. I will continue to share information. And again, I will say this before I get off, like I said before. If I put out any misinformation or anything that is false, right? Please let me know by providing me verifiable information instead of just a rebuttal. Provide me a reference so I can go and I can read it myself. And I will gladly come back on as loud as I'm screaming about accountability, right? I will gladly come back on and say I was wrong about X, Y, and Z. And for people thinking that I don't have a vindictive or issue with anybody, I don't. But I will hold you accountable. I will. And I'm not just going to talk. I'm not just going to say stuff. I am going to do the actual research so I can read it in black and white. So whatever information that I find, I'm not going to offer you my opinion. I'm going to give you facts. All right. Yeah. Let me see. Kenyana Lasay say it be for clout, like the young folks be saying. Robinson Marina said, that's because they don't ride around and look at what they're getting grants for. They are entrusting grown people to do what they're supposed to do. The thing about it is, man, look, a lot of this stuff is just somebody lying to you. Lying to you. Like they're like literally lying to you. I've seen so many posts that just numbers just thrown in there. We got this amount of money, this taking this amount to this amount. And let me throw millions of dollars in there so people can give the perception as if something getting done. Right? The perception that something getting done. But when you sit down and say, okay, where are the results at? Where are the tangible results? Where can I point to say, hey, you know what? That was done. That was done. Oh, I see that. Boom. I see this over there. Like, that's the thing. Medulla Oblongata said, that's funny, said, can other counties that have money help poor counties? No, I'm being honest. It's not their responsibility. Their responsibility to the constituents and the citizens of their county. Our counties get revenue come in and all this stuff, right? They get that coming in, taxes, all of this, right? But also there's a lot of funding available for poor communities, like in the Black Belt. But our leaders don't apply for a lot of those, or our leaders haven't done the necessary thing they needed, like done consistent audits to make to make those cities and municipalities available to leverage some of those resources. Right? I'm just being honest with you. To be leverage those. Like one of the goals, I remember, shout out to rest in peace to Mayor Jones. One of the things that when we talked about doing a strategic strategy for the city of Uniontown back in 2020, when he got elected and came in, and I sat down with him over the Christmas break of 2020. One of the things that he said that his top priority was first priority was he was trying to streamline and because they had too many employees for the city employees. So streamline and maximize the city workforce in Uniontown. His second one was to conduct an audit and make the city bankable, because he understood that the city had to be bankable, because what he took over from the previous administration before him, from Mayor Hunter, the city of Uniontown only had $2,000 in the bank when he came in office. What Mayor Jones was able to do, he was able to, because he took steps to make sure that the city was bankable, he was able to get a lot of the debt forgiven just because he did those steps. Right? So when we start to think about it, that's the problem that we have in a lot of our areas, that we can't get funding because they ain't doing the right things. Like that's part of the requirements. And this is the thing, and I want people to understand this, right? Don't let people play in your face. I'm going to share a post later, but the Perry County Commission, when I made a post about audits and everything about the Perry County, Albert Turner replied to a comment and basically saying that I didn't know what I was talking about, and that they are conducting a compliance audit, right? A compliance audit. Now I want people to understand a compliance audit basically just saying, okay, are you following the procedures? That's not a financial audit. So it's not the same thing, but because they got an audit with it, he'll try to throw that out there like they're really in good standing. But the last audit that Perry County had that's on record at the state, they had 9 non-compliances. Bad record keeping. They ain't responding back. Same thing that Adam said with Marion. Same thing going on in Perry County. But you want to try to come back and try to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, honestly, you should do research on what people know. Stop assuming people don't know certain things. Like I said before, my job in the military, I'm a logistics officer. Part of my job as a logistics officer is I manage budgets. Not only manage budgets, I deal with logistics, so I have to do a lot of analytical things. So that's why I can look at things from an analytical perspective. Do anticipate requirements, do projections, right? Those are the things that I do. That's what I've been doing for the last 15 plus years, right? And I was prepared to do that because of my education being prepared in the Black Belt. So that's why I've been saying, man, stop letting people, like, I'm being honest with you. They have gotten so accustomed to just telling the people stuff, and the people just be like, oh, okay. I have people say this. For those who don't know, I've been a host of the Black Belt Experience for the Black Bear Experience show. We come on every Sunday. I've been a host for the last 5 years. After my sister asked me to come on board. I've been talking about accountability in the Black Belt since I've been on the show, right? I've been talking about Perry County and all that. This ain't nothing new. You've had people to say, well, at least he doing something. The perception of action doesn't mean that there's an effectiveness of what's being done. I can be busy. Just because I'm busy don't mean I'm getting stuff done. You have people, you can work all day and you come on, you tired, and you ask them, what did you get accomplished? I was at work, I worked hard. Okay, but what did you get accomplished? Man, look, I said it before and I've said on here, I am willing to help. I'm willing to help in whatever capacity I can. For Marion, for Perry County, for Uniontown, for any community surrounding in the Black Belt. I'm getting ready to retire. I'm willing to help in whatever capacity. But that ain't gonna stop me from holding you accountable. That's not. That's not. I'm willing to help the cities do what I call a term of reference. Term of reference will outline the roles and responsibility of each position. And then this is what I'm saying to all of the municipal leaders, right? The city councilmen, the mayors, right? Alabama law, the Alabama League of Municipalities, they have a certification program that they've been having since 1994. But in January 1st of this year, the Alabama law came out that required each mayor and city councilman to get at least complete 10 hours of training. If you've been on the city council longer than one term and you haven't done training, or you've been on there this whole year and you haven't done training, what are you waiting for? That training will help you know better how to do your done job. Medulla said, do I believe that the mayors elected were chosen by the people, or do you think something may have been off in the process? I'm seeing many people raise questions. Look, I'll tell you like this. I think that there were outside influences on this current election. I think in both Marion and in Uniontown, especially in Uniontown, Albert Turner said himself that he injected himself and his resources because he said that my sister being the mayor was bad for the city. Now that's his statement. Y'all know I got a screenshot and I got a receipt for it. That's what he said. And I asked him, what do he mean by injecting himself and his resources? I asked him, what did that mean? Was that aligned to the allegations that you were paying for votes in there? Because, like I said before, 35% of the mayoral runoff election in Uniontown, 35% of the votes were absentee ballots. And Portia got, she got 60 votes, absentee ballots during the first election, and she ended up with 73 on the second election. Mayor Ron Miller got 105 the first election, and he got 289 absentee ballots in the runoff. He got more absentee votes than he got votes at the poll. Portia had a 20% increase from, she went from 360 votes at the poll in the first election to 400 votes at the poll on the second election. That was a 20% increase. And she went from 60 absentee ballots to 73. That was a 20. So she was consistent with her change. But you go from 142 votes, 147 votes total, 247 votes total at the first election to like 200 to 565, the second one. And you had 247 votes at the poll and 289 votes for absentee ballot. And there was a lady that called my sister during the campaign and asked, said, hey, if you got $150, I got 10 votes for you. So I hope that answered your question, Medulla Oblongata. You know, I think that process was tainted. My recommendation to my sister was to challenge it. Not about I was just to challenge so they can start to look at who's the signature. And I do want to bring this up. It was announced right before the election that former mayor, Jamal Hunter, was appointed as the backup, to Alfreda, in Uniontown to be the alternate counter for absentee ballots in that runoff. This not after the first election, it was after the runoff. And if y'all don't believe me, I got receipts. I got receipts to show that they announced it. They announced it. So that's what goes on. But then we see the realities of what we got in Perry County. And people are mad about me because I'm talking about accountability. Mad about this outsider. But don't get mad about stuff that I'm talking about. Like, don't even get upset about that. Don't say nothing about it. Right? Don't allow your biases to control you, to get you to think certain things. Don't allow that. Right? Because you have to be, we have to be honest with ourselves. Hey, there's certain things I'm going to be biased about. I'm a huge Alabama fan. Right? So I'm going to wish for their best interest. Right? But at the same point, if they do something and they lose and they cheat, I'm not finna sit here and come up and attack somebody else for it. No, that's not what it is. Right? I can support my team. I can support my family member. I can support whoever I want to support, but I can still hold them accountable if they wrong. Accountability will feel like an attack for those who are not looking to, seeking to be held accountable. And if somebody holding you to account, then they genuinely love you. They genuinely care about, I want to see better because I know there's potential to be better. But there's some stuff that got to be fixed. We can't keep covering up mess. We can't keep covering up the stuff that we've been covering up and thinking everything going to be good. No, let's get some audits done. Let the leaders talk to the people. Allow them a voice to talk at the city council meetings. Allow them a voice to talk at the county commission meetings. Get with the veterans, get with people within the community to see what they want, to see the things that they need to have. Then when you get funding for certain stuff, make sure that the stuff is being done and follow up with it. Like for real, we shouldn't be reactionary. We should be proactive. Right. And again, for those who want to claim and ask, there's a lot of solutions out there, but the elected leaders and the leadership need to be the ones to come up, and they need to lead in the capacity of taking ownership of what's going on. Don't try to defer and point blame on everything. And whatever the other stuff they need to do, the things they need to do is just be forthcoming and honest. And if you've been dealing shiesty and doing things under the table, it's just time to make a change, man. For real. Because the basic infrastructure of the stuff that we would have a lot more if we had leaders that could be trusted. A lot of these leaders ain't trustworthy. They'll lie to your face and people be saying the same old thing. Just like I talked about, I'm gonna share this and I'm gonna get off. I talked about political deception. Cedar Bluff Road has been used as a political pawn in City of Uniontown for the last 2+ years. Albert Turner posted back in 2023 when Carlton Lewis was running for mayor. He was the acting mayor after Mayor Jones died. Carlton Lewis running for mayor. Albert supported Carlton Lewis. He wanted him to win. He did not support Ron Miller. So what he was doing was talking about how he worked with Carlton Lewis and how they were going to get Cedar Bluff Road done. And he talked about how the failure that Ron Miller did as a county commissioner and how he's going to do, and he didn't support him. Fast forward again, he came back like a month later, said the same thing about Cedar Bluff Road and how they are working and how they working together and how city councilman Lewis and the chairman and how they are connecting together and working together. Fast forward 2 years later, when Ron Miller was running against my sister, right 2 weeks before the runoff, Albert made a post about how him and Ron Miller all together and how they got a great working relationship with him and Sherman because he was pushing for Sherman to get reelected as a city councilman, and he was endorsing and talking about Ron Miller to get reelected. This was literally 2 weeks before the runoff election, and how they have approved Cedar Bluff Road to be done. And in that, he said that the work is going to begin by the end of September and be done. The work will be started and ended by the end of September and the beginning of October. That's what he said was going to happen for Cedar Bluff Road. And then 2 days ago, he made a post. We ain't heard nothing done about Cedar Bluff Road and haven't seen anything done since the election over with. But he made a post yesterday about how the county commission now is going to vote to include Cedar Bluff Road into road repairs. And then now he included his support of Dexter and Marion, and now he's talking about repairing Utah Street and South Thompson Street as part of that. And he said, oh, the work should be done. The work should be done by the end of summer of 2026. We're going to work hard. The commission is working. Well, what happened to Cedar Bluff Road for 2 years? Why now you throwing in because of the heat that Dexter getting about the water? Now you trying to throw this in? Like, that's the lie. That's political deception. That's what that is. They will lie to you. They will and say, I'm doing all of this stuff, and you never see the results of it. I just provide a receipt so you can go see. That's what I'm tired of. Stop lying to the people. Stop lying to the people. The people, you hold the power. Hold these folks accountable, because if you love something, you want to see what's best for it, and you hold them accountable. You guys have a blessed and wonderful Thanksgiving. Love on your people. Hope you have some good food. If that food nasty, tell them it's nasty. Stop being nice, because these folks, look, Thanksgiving ain't time for you to experiment. You need to experiment all the way up. Thanksgiving time, people have some good food. You guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you guys later.